Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you, Muskan. On behalf of College of Architecture, let me heartily welcome Dr. Gayatri Doctor to this platform. See, this is a platform which we started last time during the lockdown, and it has been very successful, and we have been able to do webinars on various topics, as Muskan told, on landscape, heritage, urban management, etc. So without wasting time, let us go to the speaker. Welcome, madam.
Uh,
I
I
request
request.
her to show the glimpse of our college.
Thank you so much, Taha sir. Now I would like to take this opportunity to introduce today's speaker. Gayatri ma'am has been in academics for more than 2 decades after an initial experience in the IT industry. Currently, she is working as a program chair and associate professor in the Faculty of Management, SEP University, and is engaged in the field of urban management from a technology perspective, exploring various technologies, their applications in the urban context, user acceptance, and challenges. Her interest areas are smart cities, e-governance, data-driven service operations, open data, and emerging technologies in the urban context. It is my sheer pleasure and absolute honor to welcome our speaker, Dr. Gayatri Doctor, to this virtual platform. I request her to start today's session. The dais is yours, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Nair, Esha, and all the other faculty present here for inviting me for this urban webinar series, urban management webinar series. And it is my pleasure, and I hope I will be of give some value to the students when I tell them about smart cities. Okay, so without wasting much time, I will go over to start my presentation. Is the screen visible?
Yes, madam.
Okay, fine. So, as discussed by with everybody, I'm going to be briefing you all about smart cities. You know, over the years, the definition has evolved to mean many things to many different people. But of course, there is one thing that is constant. When we say smart, it means I'm going to utilize information and communication technology, and I will be trying to address these urban challenges. So basically, things that technology can do and things that make cities better, when they overlap, what I get is smart cities. There are many different definitions. People define smart cities in different ways, but one of the most popular definitions would be that a city well performing in a forward looking way in the 6 characteristics. So basically we talk of economy, people, governance, mobility, environment, living, built on the smart combination of endowments and activities of self-defense, independent and aware citizens. So different definitions, right? Now, there is something which is known as nowadays as smart cities are gaining a momentum. People like to rank. So there is a global smart city ranking. The Institute for Management Development, in collaboration with the Singapore University for Technology and Design, is released the 2020 Smart City Index. So it ranks different cities. Okay, now I'll let all the people do a small quiz. So everybody on your mobile phones or on your systems, you can go to menti.com and I'll give you a code. So you enter that code and answer the questions. Okay. In the meanwhile, you can see what is. Okay, the code is 7360567. I will put it in the chat also. Seven three six eight zero five six 7. So everybody just go to www.menti.com, use the code and write this down. What do you feel is a smart city anywhere in the world or that you have heard of? Yes, that's nice. But that's only one person. So this is the world. Don't be restricted to India. So Singapore, New York, Ahmedabad, Dubai, yes. The more the number of people that select the size of the text will become bigger. Okay, that's good. So now I'll change over to the next question. Okay. Anybody else? Is someone still writing? Or shall I move to the next? We'll wait till there are 30. Okay, 27, 28. One more? No? Okay, I'll move to the next question. Yeah, that's good. So Singapore, Tokyo, New York, Ahmedabad, and a lot of other cities. Okay. We are in the Indian context, and there are a lot of urban missions. Okay. So using the same code, rank your knowledge about the following urban missions. What have you heard about? Have you heard about Swachh Bharat or Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana or Smart City Mission or Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana? What have you heard? Person number one, he knows, he's heard about all the others, but a few less. Okay, good. Yes, I'll wait for 4 more polls to make it 30 people. No? Okay. Yeah, that's good. So as you all can see, the Swachh Bharat mission is something which a large number of people know about. The next is the Smart City mission and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. But these other three are not really seen as much, right? And have been heard about much. But there are a large number of urban missions. Okay, good. So now let's get back to the presentation. Right. So this particular global smart city ranking, which came out in 2020, as many of you have guessed correctly, Singapore has been ranked as the world's smartest city, followed by Helsinki, Zurich, Auckland, and Oslo. And in this particular ranking, there were 4 cities in India. Naturally, they have not chosen, they have chosen the main metro cities, where Hyderabad is ranked 85, New Delhi 86, Mumbai 95, and Bengaluru 96. Okay. this is an era where the urban sector is growing. Everybody is moving to cities, and cities, which are the engines of economic growth, the quality of urban infrastructure, the service levels, governance, these things all need to be improved. And as a result, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs has launched these different missions, which I asked you all about. So you have the Smart City Mission, the Amrit, the Hriday, Swachh Bharat, the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, and the Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana. I'm sure a lot of us know about Swachh Bharat and the rankings, and that Indore has been consistently being ranked as India's best, cleanest city for the last 4 times, and who knows, they may become once again in the 5th year also. But today's session is not on any of these other topics. I'm going to be talking about the Smart City Mission. So a brief history. In June 2015, the Smart Cities Mission was launched. The aim was to drive economic growth and improve the quality of life so that we could have local area development and we could harness technology to do the same. So basically there are 5 features of this mission. The first feature, they're known as the 5 C's. So one is competition. See, normally what happens, if you just give something to somebody, there isn't much value. But if you put up a competition, like even I'm sure your teachers do it for you, if there is a competition and there is a selection process, there is some enthusiasm and participation. And the second was citizen engagement. So to involve all the citizens, it's not only the bureaucrats and the people who are managing the city that have to talk about, you have to have the normal citizens. In this process, the cities get empowered and try to focus on comprehensive, holistic, integrated solutions. And there should be a convergence of all the projects and the financial resources from these different programs through partnerships, loans, and innovative launching and innovative ways of financing. So based with these 5 C's, there are 6 principles. So where the citizen is at the core, and of course, we have resource constraints. So we have to try to make the best from whatever little we have. We have to be cooperative and competitive. We have to bring in integration and innovation, and of course, sustainability. If I have something, I can't just have capital investment and say that it's over. I must be able to sustain my investments, and I have to use technology. So technology is one of the means, but it is not the goal. It's not that I can use technology and say, but if I use technology, I'm smart. No, I have to use technology as a means to be able to adopt solutions and solve challenges in cities. And of course, I must be inclusive. It is for the people, but all types of people on the principles of inclusiveness. Then there are features. What did this smart cities mean? So they wanted to promote mixed land use. They wanted to have housing. You should be able to walk. You should have good open spaces, a variety of transport. The citizens should not have difficulties. So governance must be citizen friendly. Each city must have an identity, and I must apply all these smart solutions. So basically, what the government did is they decided that there can be 2 types of things. So there are area-based proposals and there are pan-city proposals. So area-based proposals could be of 3 types. So I could retrofit. That means if I have an existing area, I will revamp that existing area, or I could redevelop. That means whatever area I have, I replace it and I have an environment which I'm redeveloping it. And the third is, this is a totally vacant area and I develop a greenfield city, right? And in addition to these areas, because these areas, see, you can't convert the whole city at one time. So you pick up, identify an area, and in this particular area, you do your proposals. If it works well, you test it out, and you can replicate it across different parts of the city. And then there is a pan city proposal. That means I select some technology, I select some solutions, and I try to give it across the city. Okay. So these were the two basic things that every city was supposed to come up with. They were supposed to come up with proposals about how they would improve their cities. Now, in order to do this, what happened is that, a typical municipal corporation has a lot of limitations when they are doing something new. So in order to break this, there was what is known as the special purpose vehicle, which was created, which would plan, appraise, approve, manage the funds, operate, monitor, and do all sorts of things for these projects itself. It had a structure of its own, right? Where there is a CEO, there are different people who are handling different parts of its thing. So it was like an entity within the within the smart city, or it is an entity created to manage the particular smart city. So how are these smart cities selected? First of all, the state governments were asked to shortlist potential cities. Every state in the country was said that you can identify 4 or 5 cities which you think you would like to make into a smart city. Following this, there was the Ministry of Urban Development. At that time, it was called the Ministry of Urban Development and not the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. They shortlisted 100 smart cities from these potential smart cities. Once these cities were shortlisted, each one of them was asked to make a proposal. The proposals which I mentioned, the area-based or the pan cities proposals, and they were evaluated. When they were evaluated, the first round, 20 cities were declared. The cities which had the best proposals were selected. Then they were told, okay, now all the other cities, 80 cities, go back, revamp your proposals, redo your work. It's like teachers tell students, this is not up to the mark, go, redo, come back. So something like that happened. And then the cities which were selected, they set up their special purpose vehicles and they started to implement their smart city proposals. So this is just a quick look. All the 100 cities, if you see the first round, there were 20 cities where in Gujarat we had Ahmedabad, and Bhubaneswar was the city which had the best proposals. These were ranked, right? The best proposals onwards. And then it was found that there were many states which we didn't have cities. And so there was a fast track round and 13 cities were selected, following which there was a second round where 27 cities were selected. And a third round of 30 cities, the fourth round of 9 cities, and the 100th city selected was Shillong, which was in June 2018. So between 2015 and 2018, the cities were selected in 4 rounds of competitions under the Smart Cities mission. Now, what were these proposals? So if we looked at the proposals which were there in the first round of cities, that is the first 20 which we said are the best cities, we had open space management, we had rainwater harvesting, we had LED street lights and solar street lights, affordable housing, smart traffic management, CCTV for surveillance. These were some of the area-based proposals that 20 cities were there in the first round. As you can see, 13 cities talked about solar street lights, right? 10 cities talked about traffic management. And if you looked at the pan-city based proposals, there were centralized command control centers, transit operations, smart water metering, smart parking, common cards for digital payments, and CCTV for surveillance. Right? It's just a flavor, so you get to see the different type of proposals that were proposed as a part of the smart city proposal. Now everything needs money, right? So the 100 smart cities were to make an investment of 2.5 lakh crores in 5 years, right? 5 years are over. 2020 was 5 years. Of course, we are a little behind schedule, but projects worth 1.33 lakh crores at different stages of implementation. Some of them have been done, some are under construction, and some have been completed, right? So this is just a quick screenshot of the type of money that has been involved and is being used in the different areas, whether it's sewerage, whether it's water supply, whether it's solid waste management, stormwater drainage, and different areas. These are the types of investments that we are talking about under the Smart Cities mission. And of course, everything cannot be given only by the center or the states. So there are public-private partnerships, there are some loans to be taken, there are some own resources that the urban local bodies have to generate to be able to sustain these particular projects. So this is just like, again, a smart shot. When I say, if there is a connected community, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by urban resilience or smart governance or the ease of living? So what are these projects? So I'll be showing you some projects which have been implemented and which are in place now. So the New Delhi Municipal Corporation is transforming schools, municipal schools, okay? So 444 smart classrooms have been set up. There are digital libraries, automation. 1 minute. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Then in Pune, they have created a lighthouse program to uplift and upskill the urban poor. So there are different things, as here you can see in the picture, tailoring, stitching, different sorts of activities which can be taught to the urban poor. These are already operational, okay? Then there are solar rooftops. So lot of energy usage. Now we are even talking of the sustainable development goals. We're talking of climate smart cities and things of that sort. So the minimizing the normal coal-based electricity, we are trying to use solar energy, and DU has become the first city to completely switch to solar power during the daytime. Then waste, we are generating a lot of waste. Everybody knows, many of you all know about Swachh Bharat. So there are waste to energy plants in Jabalpur, right? Jabalpur, so all the waste is incinerated and converted to electricity. There are many places, even Indore has them now. And then smart cards. Okay, nowadays, I'm sure all of you are aware that digital payments is very much in view, especially with the COVID scenario. So these cards were launched a little before that, but now you have contactless cards, like as you see the Union Bank card with the chip. So that is the near frequency cards. You can just tap them and you can pay for it. Or a variety of digital payments have come up, right? Beam, UPI, there are all different things that are being launched. Then there are apps, lots of apps, basically primarily to provide services to the city. right, to the citizens. So this is one particular one of Pune Municipal Corporation, where you can apply for the different services. If your street light is not working, if your garbage hasn't been picked up, you want to apply for some certificate, they can all be done using these online services. It's not necessary you need a smartphone to do it, but you can do it from the net or from the smartphone, or even from a call center for that matter. In Bhopal, they have developed 12 kilometers of dedicated cycle tracks. You know, this is something a lot of architects like, right? How to develop the cycle tracks. What is the road? Where is the walking path? How does it go? So this sort of thing, they have developed it on either side of the BRTS, and they are promoting cycle riding as a culture in the city. Ahmedabad, many of you all said Ahmedabad is one of the smart cities also. Yes, they have implemented a new multi-level parking facility in Navaratpura. Those of you who know about Ahmedabad know that CG Road is a area where there is a lot of shopping and always a problem with parking. So they have this new multi-level parking facility. And in fact, if you all have been looking at newspapers, you may know that there is a app called Amda Park, which is in the pilot stages of testing, which is a parking management app for that stretch of CG Road. Now, you know, it's like we give ranks to students and you get awards in college. Even the cities need some motivation. So there are Indian Smart City Awards, 2018, even 2020, right? 2020 we have had some awards, but these are just a few which I have listed out. Like Pune had one for PMC Care. There is something called placemaking, so you can create open spaces, schools, campuses, incubation centers, waste to energy plants, transit management systems, and yes, even water supply, SCADA systems in place, right? So that's a combination of urban and water supply. So SCADA systems which you can monitor and work ahead with. Now, all of you all must be knowing, we all are very close to Baroda. SVIT is very close to Baroda, and I'm sure many of you come from Baroda, and you all are all aware of Smart City Baroda. But I was surprised nobody mentioned Baroda is one of the smart cities, right? So this is the website of Vadodara Smart City. I'm sure after this session, you all can go through, look through what are the Pan City projects and the area-based projects that the city of Vadodara is having. Has anybody come across this particular scenario in Baroda? Has anybody paid an e-challan? Traffic violation? Yes. Can I have some ticks or some, what shall we say, some hands being raised? Raise hand symbols if anybody has, yes. So if you've got so some of you have got, right? So you've got e-challans, right? So that is one of the activities which is part of the Smart City initiative, and you are getting this particular thing, a challan payment you enter. And now if you all are aware, there is an app called M Parivahan where you can upload your driving license, you can upload your RC book. I mean, if the car doesn't belong to you, your father can upload it and it can be shared with you. And the most recent addition that has happened is even your PUC details are updated in that app. So you don't have to hunt for your PUC certificate. You can, it's all there on your app, and if you have it and your traffic cop catches you, you can say, no, see, here's my license, here's my RC book, my registration book, and my PUC is okay, unless of course you're talking while driving the car, or you haven't worn your seat belt, or in today's times you don't have the mask, right? So this is one of the systems which Vadodara has. There are many, you can explore them, and I'm sure many of you know about it. Now I'm switching to a slightly different offshoot of what happens. You know, when all these things come in, there is a lot of data which is coming in. So there is something which is known as open data. So this open data is data which can be freely used, reused, and redistributed by anyone, right? So it's something like your open source software. Anybody can use it. It's available free of, and it should be available to everybody, right? So there are different types of open data portals. You have the government gives you the central, that is the national, state, and the city level portals. Then you have global parameters, global data. Then you have sector wise. You know, I'm not interested. Let's say I'm a person and I say I'm interested only in water, or I'm interested only in energy. I'm not interested in everything, or local government. So there are different type of sector based portals. There are categories. So within that, I may talk of tourism, I may talk of sanitation or forest. There are different types of portals that are available, and some primary categories and some secondary categories, right? So these are all the different types of portals that are available today, right? So what is this open data? You know, and why are we talking about it? So we're talking about it because we are concerned with open government data, right? So what is this open government data? It promotes transparency, accountability, and value creation by making government data available to all. So today, if you want to know how many passports have been issued, what is the crime in Baroda, how many street lights are there, where do you get this information, right? So you should be able to get this information in the open data portal. By making the data sets available, public institutions become transparent and accountable to the citizens. So you can use this, and in today's age when there are so many startups, there is so much of innovation happening, everybody wants data to be able to analyze and work on and create new things, especially for services which are citizen-centric. So again, there is a ranking. So we have what is known as the Global Open Data Index, and in this index, Taiwan stands at rank 1, whereas India, we are not badly off. We rank 32nd in the Global Open Data Index. As you can see, whatever is marked in green is open, and the little bit of red that we have, we still have to open these sort of things, right? I don't know how many of you are aware, but India has an open government data. The country level dashboard is data.gov.in. You can go to this particular portal and you will find a variety of information starting from visualization, analytics, different sectors, education, industry, and a lot of COVID related information also. Right? There are some states, not all states, but there are some states which are like Odisha, Tamil Nadu, Sikkim, who have their state data portals. And there is a smart cities data portal, right? Surat was one of the few cities, first cities to have started off with this particular data portal. But now all 100 smart cities are expected to put up their data on these smartcities.data.gov.in, right? So it is an open platform and we can see it. Academia, students, industries, research, everybody can connect. There is something which is known as the Data Smart Cities Strategy, which is an evolving policy framework on how you can use this data and create data-centric governance and data-driven decisions. So if you look at the open data platform of Indian smart cities, all 100 smart cities, there are about 3,000 catalogs. It's keeping on increasing on a day-to-day basis. different resources. So many people have viewed it, and you can download the data. Anybody can download data from this place. So if I again, coming back to Baroda Smart City, you can see it has uploaded about 42 catalogs and some downloads, about 900 to 1,000 downloads. And there are different elements which you can go in and you will be able to see, like street lights, open spaces, infrastructure distribution, and things like that. Now, I'm sure everybody's heard about this, which is known as the Integrated City Control and Command Center, right? So in the times of COVID, all cities which had Integrated Control Command Center, which looks something like this, with big LED screens, with all the cameras that you see on the roads and different places across the city. I'm sure Vadodara has a lot of them. So you can see them all at one place and you can map everything. So during the times of COVID, when people could not visit physical places, these control command centers acted like the war room. War room in the sense it's one place where you could see everything that was happening across the city, wherever, of course, it is installed and working as of now. So in this particular time, there was a lot of leveraging of technology for rapid response, right? Testing and quarantine, containment zones could be marked, AI-based alerts were done, drone surveys were done. Telemedicine, Vadodara was in fact one of the first few cities which started off with the telemedicine scenario. GIS case tracking, dashboards, video consultations, e-passes to move into different areas, online deliveries, rapid response streams. A lot of things were done through these integrated command and control centers, which were set up as a part of the Smart City initiative. So as you can see, of course, surveillance was there, real-time patient tracking in the initial days when the numbers were fewer. There were training, everybody needed to be trained. This was something new, we didn't know what was happening. So you could do online trainings, you could have patient support platforms, citizen engagement, online medical consultations, and all sorts of things which were leveraged for managing the COVID response initiatives. Now we're talking about emerging technologies. There are three basic buzzwords that go around. One is Internet of Things, another is blockchain, and the third is artificial intelligence. Okay. So when we talk of Internet of Things, today, as you know, all of you use Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever else, Snapchat, WhatsApp. These are all what is known as, we don't say it, we just say the internet, but they are actually what is known as the Internet of People, right? Because it helps you to connect to people. And now we are in an era where things can be connected to each other. You're talking of wearables, your Fitbits, your calorie trackers, connected cars, homes, cities, street lights, parking meters, traffic signals, and when it goes beyond what is known as the industrial internet, where even healthcare, transportation, and everything else can be connected. Then there is something called a blockchain. I won't go into the technicalities. It is an emerging technology. And as you can see that the India strategy on blockchain has been launched only in January 2020. And we have had a few examples in the sense Thane Smart City did a pilot implementation of property tax assessment using this particular technology. And Tamil Nadu today is also doing a lot of work. Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, all of them are at different stages of implementation with different experiments in the blockchain area. And in fact, there is a talk which NOAA is working on with the education department. We are going to have what is known as a certificate chain using blockchain. So all certificates will be available on this certificate chain, and you don't have to go and get it attested and verified and notarized. They are all going to be available in the digital format. And of course, artificial intelligence. I'm sure everybody has heard of the MyGov platform. If you haven't heard about the MyGov platform, maybe you all have heard about Man Ki Baat, which the Prime Minister talks on. So that is a citizen engagement portal where feedback from the citizens on various things, various strategies, various competitions are all done. If you haven't, please log into MyGov and interact with the government on various things. You will get to know a lot of things about what is happening in the country as a part of this young citizens. You will be able to interact with and know about a lot of initiatives that are going on. So when you have chatbots, that is what is being done by one of the artificial intelligence things. The National Strategy for Artificial Intelligence was made in June 2018, but in reality, 2020, we had a big event which was called Responsible AI for Social Empowerment, RAISE, and we have an indiaai.in portal. If you can go to, you can see this, there is an indiaai.in portal where you will have a lot of information on AI related stuff with reference to smart cities and all the different initiatives that different cities are trying out. So I hope I have given you a brief overview of some of the smart cities, historical background, and then coming up to the current. And if you all are following, you would know that there is the National Urban Digital Mission has been recently launched, and they are talking of not only the main municipal corporations, but even digitizing and trying to bring in all the various municipalities of the country. So thank you very much. This is my email ID. If you feel like connecting with me, please do feel to connect with me. I am at the Faculty of Management at SVIT University, where we have a master's program in urban management. As you can see, with so much of urban activity, we have this 2 years urban management program. It is a master's program, and it is hoping to create professionals who can be dedicated to the management of cities and improve the quality of life in the cities. So this is just a little bit of glimpse about the urban management program. And if you want to know more about this program, there is a webinar on urban management on the 30th of March at 12:30. You can register for that, please, where the Professor Chirayu Bhatt, who is the acting dean of the Faculty of Management, is going to be telling you about the program. And this is it. So the last date to apply is 5th April. Thank you. And I hope I have been able to give you some introduction to smart cities. Thank you.
Yes, surely, ma'am. It was a very insightful session. Any questions from the audience?
Yeah, I will just stop sharing 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, now I'm ready to take questions.
Are there any questions? No one has written in the chat box. If anyone has any, you can speak up.
Yeah, you can definitely ask.
Ma'am, can I ask one?
Yes, of course, Muskan.
Ma'am, as individuals, what should be our duty to contribute into development of smart cities?
Yeah. So see, citizen engagement is a very important element. Okay. As a citizen, you have to be also involved. Like now, I'm sure you are aware of Swachh Bharat, right? Right. But do you segregate your waste when you give it? Right. You can ask Esha. She was one of my students, and we did a thesis on
Yes,
e-waste. Right?
yes.
How is e-waste managed? What happens today? Where do you throw away your batteries? Where do you throw your batteries? Or in COVID times, what do you do with your biomedical waste? Right? So these are small things, whereas every citizen and citizen participation, citizen activities can be done. Okay, and that's what I said. There is this portal called mygov.in where the government will tell you about a lot of things. If they are coming out with a new strategy, they will ask you to read certain documents. You can give your suggestions for it. You can ask questions on this portal. So as a citizen, you must be aware about all the things that can happen. You must try and interact so that you can improve the quality of life of your own city. I hope
Okay.
that answers your question a little
Yes,
bit.
yes, it definitely did. Thank you so much, ma'am. Anyone else?
Yeah, hello ma'am, this is Shilpi Agarwal. I'm a
Yeah,
faculty here. Ma'am, yeah, there are a number of missions from Government of India, but I would like to know the citizens' response to these missions. Are citizens able to accept these all the missions in a way, especially the smart city mission, for example?
right. Okay, let me put it this way. Do you not like it when all the street lights are working in your area? If you are in a
Yeah,
particular,
certainly.
you like it, right? Then
Certainly.
now, in the street lights were those old yellow bulbs. Now they have become nice LED bulbs, correct? Then nowadays you get information about the air quality, right? By the of course Ahmedabad and Baroda are more privileged, but Delhi and Agra and places where the air quality is pretty bad, you get information. Please don't go out. So these are all small initiatives that have been taken up as a part of the smart city initiative. Like I mentioned, the e-challan, which a few of the students and people have got, right? It's basically trying to change citizen behavior. Previously, if there was a red light, I'm not sure if anybody stopped, right? You just kept going. But now, if you get a challan, 300 rupees, next time 600 rupees, you're going to be aware, oh, red light hai, ठहरो bhai, wait beyond the crossing. So it is a two-way relationship. The government has to give initiatives, right? Which help the citizens, and the citizen also has to participate and become part of it, right? See, this is not the only initiative, right? Like when we talk about passport, I'm sure many of you have tried applying for a passport, right? Or even a driving license. Driving license is today not as good as passport services, but today everything can be done online. I upload everything, I have minimum amount of interaction. In fact, look at the COVID app, right? For all those people who are going to get vaccinated, it is the Arogya Setu or the COVID app. In fact, yesterday there was a discussion and a webinar where I attended. India is one of the few places where when you register for your vaccination, you get an appointment, you go and get it, and within 2 hours of that, you get a certificate which is barcoded, right? Which you can take. Whereas the US today has a handwritten certificate given to you for your COVID vaccination, right?
Yeah, yeah. Agree,
So
ma'am.
we are moving
Definitely.
ahead. Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, ma'am. But very insightful session, ma'am. Really wonderful. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. There is
Yes.
one
Ma'am, I have a
question I think
question.
I see. Right.
Yeah. By the they use the name of the smart city. Hello,
Huh.
am I audible? Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what is happening in Vadodara? What I
Huh.
have observed that
Right.
by the name of the smart city, they are expanding the money where in some portion it is not required. As you said, if you have a yellow bulb and now you are providing the LED light. But
Right.
I haven't seen the planning in such a way where there is a area where there is no such kind of street light, and still even if with, providing the street lights over there, you are expending the money or you wasting the money in the areas where there is already a provisions for the same. Another way, if I can give you the good example, when Vadodara is selected as a smart city, before that only the pathways between the walkways and pathways between the two roads, it has been covered with the paver blocks. And the
Huh.
moment it has been selected as a smart city, it was removed and plantation has been done. So immediately using or spending the money on the plantation, isn't it you feel that there might be such kind of the norms or such kind of policies that should be there, that rather than enhancing the existing space, you have to explore the areas which are already there.
Right. See, Jwalant, what has happened is that when the original smart cities mission was planned, it was supposed to be such that new cities were going to be made. Okay, so they were greenfield cities, right? So it's like saying if you have Baroda, then let's say an area on the outskirts of Baroda is selected to become a smart city, and that has been made. Okay, so if you all have heard of Naya Raipur, right, and some of you may have heard, of course, GIFT is not part of this smart city mission, but GIFT City is also a greenfield city. New Town, Kolkata, in the western segment, that is also a greenfield city. So some places there are totally new areas, vacant areas which have been developed and made with all the latest technologies. But what happened? This was not working everywhere. So the government said, okay, let's retrofit. Now, in this retrofitting, many times there are things which have happened which should not. Yes, it is not that it is a perfect system. Sometimes there are some issues. It's like saying if you have a house, all of you are architects, you have a house and you're going to redo the house, right? If you, let's say, just got it painted last year, but now this year you want to redo it, yeah, you are going to waste the money which you wasted in painting the house, but you're going to make it into a better place. So there is always a plus and a minus, and I won't say everything is perfect, but yes, the hope that we are going to improve areas and
Yes, so this is
quality
what
of
my
life.
point is, that we can't provide such kind of policies for that, so that even if who is working over there or who is planning to do over something,
Okay.
that guidelines is going to help that yes, if there are some areas which are already developed and there are some areas which are even not developed. So
Okay.
firstly expand on that area, and then if you have some kind of funding, then you can again redevelop that developed area.
Yes, possibly we can have such a sort of a thing, but the areas which were decided to be developed, let me put it in double quotes, were supposedly part with citizen engagement involved. There were groups of people which were involved, and a decision was taken whereby the administrative and the citizens got together and identified areas where this development should be done. So if that has gone wrong, then this is bound to happen. But it
Yeah.
can be there, maybe it should be there in the next round of cities and the municipalities which we are going to do upgrade. We must have this sort of a thing, and maybe in the smart villages which are going to come up soon also.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Divyaraj sir is asking that the changes are taking place for converting smart cities, but we still seem to lack reaching near our goal or there seems to be facilities available but aren't fully functional, and the people maintaining it doesn't look it. So do you think will this development pick up pace if it is given into the hands of private sector?
Yes, a lot of initiatives are being done in the public-private sector partnership mode, right? So, as you are aware that this special purpose vehicle which is developed, they have the power to give the tenders and to assign it to the private sector. So it is not that one person cannot individually do it. So there has to be a combination of public and private sector, and only then will this work. But many times what happens is that even if you give it to the private sector, they are bound by certain things. Like, let's say I say this garden needs to be redeveloped. Okay, let's say in Ahmedabad we have a lot of gardens and we have given them to Amul to look after. Okay, so Amul looks, but assume that the garden doesn't have a water connection, which is to be provided by the urban local body. I'm just giving an assumption. Then how will this private sector look after it? Okay, if there is no electricity connection which is given or a separate meter. So there are many times when both have to work hand in hand, right? And yes, we do have some problems. There are some issues which come up, but we are slowly sorting it out and working ahead.
Yes, now Umang sir's question is, do the smart cities really face traffic related problems? Government build broad roads to reduce traffic congestion, but in 2 to 3 years, we observe that traffic related problems take place at the same place. At the same
Right,
place, actually.
right. That's a very interesting question. But then is it that only the government is to blame? Who is this Captain Umang Jani? So what vehicle do you come in to college? Or what? How many vehicles do you have today? Anybody? Okay, so it's not only the problem of the government. The government did build broad roads to reduce traffic congestion. The government has put up a lot of infrastructure like these cameras, like the red light violations, automatic number plate identification things, in order to be able to regulate the traffic. But is the citizen not equally responsible? Have we not started having different modes of transport? I mean, I used to have a scooter before, not a scooter, a kinetic, and then now from a kinetic we have migrated to a car also. So there are 2 scooters and a car. So even we are responsible for increasing the amount of traffic, right? How many people travel like a full car load? You normally go 2 people or so. So traffic problems are also increasing. The traffic is increasing. Do you really follow all the regulations that you are supposed to follow, right? If you look at Indian traffic, how many people follow the traffic regulations? So it's like, chasing after another. You reach point X, but the problems have gone to point Y. Then you do something to reach the other thing, but the problems have moved more. So it's an ever-evolving scenario, and that is why now they are talking of a lot of walkability, bicycling, but of course in our climate that is also a different scenario. We cannot be as used as like people in Amsterdam or in other places use it.
Yes. Are there any other questions from the attendees? So we can end the session. I request Professor Esha Dalal to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Muskan, for the wonderful MOC. I thank Dr. Gayatri, Dr. Madam, for sparing her valuable time for this insightful session It was a pleasure to have you, madam. I would like to thank our principal, Professor Shailesh Nair sir, for his exemplary support and encouragement. I also thank our Nest Trust and our chairman, Sir Shri Bhaskar Bhai Patel, for constant motivation to all of us. Last but most important, I extend my heartiest gratitude to all my fellow mates and the technical team who are working for this webinar. Now, looking forward for this webinar, we are having next webinar that is in continuation of this urban management series, that is on 6th April on understanding smart city mission. So I again request everyone to please attend the webinar. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, the webinar will be done by Professor Chetan Vaidya.
Yeah.
He's an ex-director of SPA.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, madam.